You may have seen our review of the AllPowers R1500 power station, which you can find up here, which I successfully used for one night away cooking food on induction, some hot drinks, recharging devices and a bit of help keeping warm. But what if you want to be off grid for longer, so need more power and don't want the complication of installing separate batteries, inverter and chargers? Well, here we have its big brother, the AllPowers R1500 power station. So stick with us while we test it out, see how it compares to its competitors and how it compares to a separate leisure battery inverter charger setup. Don't forget to check out our other videos on everything campervan and motorhome related, from solar to water, heating to gadgets, tyres to trips. If you like this video, please do hit the thumbs up, it really does help me to know what you like, and you can ask any questions or give feedback in the comments. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of our future videos, please hit the subscribe button and clicking the bell will give you a notification when a new video goes live. Finally, if you do decide to hit the thumbs down, it would be great if you could also leave a comment so I know what you didn't like. The AllPowers R1500 is an all-in-one power unit that has a 1152 watt-hour battery and an 1800 watt continuous rated pure sine wave inverter. It's available on its own at a great price of £799.99 or paired with a set of 200 watt folding solar panels for £999.99. These panels are also available separately for £269.99 and come with a multitude of connectors if you already have a power station and want to add solar power. AllPowers have very kindly sent us this kit to try out, but they have no editorial control over what we say, and as always we're keen to give you a true test of the product to help you decide if it's right for you. For a limited time you can get an extra 10% off the already reduced price by using our Explore Van discount code at the checkout, meaning you can get the power station and panels for just £900, the power station alone for £720, or if you want to add 200 watts of panels to your existing setup, these will be just £243. So let's take a look at what's in the box. We get a nice storage bag with power cables for mains and solar, and the instructions and warranty documents, and the unit itself. The solar panels come with pretty much every connector you could need, and as you can see they are really easy to set up. Before we get testing, let's take a quick look at the outputs the power station has. We've got 4 AC main sockets, a 12 volt car accessory socket, 2 USB-C sockets, 2 USB-A sockets, and on the top 2 wireless charging pads. The R1500 uses the same app as the R600, but as this unit has Wi-Fi connectivity as well as Bluetooth, it means if you have it, you can link it to the Wi-Fi in your van, giving you the option to monitor and manage your power usage when you are away from your van. So as you can see here, we can switch the outputs on and off and see how much power is being used or how much power is being charged, even though we're connected to the phone network for data. We can also select the charging mode, which we have on fast, and we'll see just how fast that is later on. So first, let's test out that inverter with its claimed continuous rating of 1800 watts. Starting with a 500 watt fan heater. Let's add a 600 watt kettle. And we're up to just over 1100 watts. Now let's add our induction hob, initially on half power, which takes us to just under 1600 watts, and then let's up that power to full. We're now drawing 1900 watts from the battery. I'm running out of things to add, but let's try my drill battery charger. Finally, after that running for about 30 seconds with everything on, The inverter switches itself off to protect itself at just over 1900 watts. Now let's test the full capacity of the power station. So having recharged to full, we're going to use an oil-filled radiator rated at just over 1.2 kilowatts to see how much power is used as the batteries run down. This runs for 44 minutes before the AC is shut off, with 5% remaining in the battery. We're then going to use our 12 volt electric blanket rated at 45 watts to deplete the rest, which lasts another 85 minutes. So we can see from the AC power meter that the oil-filled radiator used a total of 892 watt hours, consuming 95% of the battery. In the last 5%, the electric blanket consumed 69 watt hours, meaning the power station supplied a total of 961 watt hours. With a battery capacity of 1152 watt hours, that gives us an efficiency of 83%, which is okay, and similar to most inverters out there, but not fantastic. So now we've got an empty power station. Let's plug it into the mains and see how long it takes to charge up. We can see it starts at a pretty gentle 300 watts, but in the first 10 minutes it ramps up to 1.5 kilowatts. In just over 30 minutes it's over 50% charged, and in 1 hour it's over 90% charged. As it lowers the power to get those final watts back in the battery, it takes a total of 1.5 hours to reach 100%, which makes this the fastest power station we have seen to charge on mains. But how does it do on solar panels? Well, it's not really the season for good solar, and as you can see from the long shadows, the sun is low in the sky and pretty weak. But even so, with the 200 watt panels connected, we get over 100 watts into the power station. And as the R1500 can take up to 650 watts a panel, and we have an extra 100 watt panel, let's add this on. We're connecting it in parallel using the industry standard MC4 connectors on the panels, and even with the 100 watt panel not at the perfect angle, just resting on the bonnet, we're now getting nearly 150 watts, which for the season and solar strength is better than we've seen from any other panel. Comes to charging from 12 volts, the lead is not included with the unit, but you can find a link to it in the video description. It is limited by the 10 amp output from the car socket, but that gives us 150 watts into the unit, which isn't bad. We said we would compare the unit with its competitors, so we're looking at the Bluetti AC180, the Jackery Explorer 1000 Pro and the EcoFlow Delta 2, which are similar prices and specs. So let's see how they compare. For a published battery capacity, they are all over 1000 watt hours, with the AllPowers and Bluetti highest at 1152. They're all lithium iron phosphate battery cells except for the Jackery, which uses older and shorter lifetime lithium ion cells. The AllPowers has the highest peak rated inverter at 3000 watts and also ties with the Bluetti and EcoFlow at 1800 watts continuous. As we saw from the speed of charging, having a maximum AC input of 1500 watt puts it in the lead, but the Jackery just edges into the front for their maximum solar input. All of these charge from the car accessory socket for 12 volts, so are limited to 10 amps 12 volt input, so are level. When it comes to the price, the AllPower and the EcoFlow are currently cheapest at £799, but when we use the price and the battery capacity to work out the cost per watt hour, as the AllPower has a larger battery capacity, you get more watt hours for your money. But as we know, the power station is made up of battery, inverter, solar charger, 12 volt charger and mains charger. How does it stack up to buying these separate? There are obvious pros and cons between a combined power station unit, like its simplicity, portability, cost, its poor upgradability and replacement cost, but something that rarely gets mentioned is the difference in voltage of the two systems. The AllPowers R1500 operates from a 48 volt battery, whereas most separate installations are 12 volts or 24 volts. This does give some advantages. Operating at a higher voltage, it puts less instantaneous load on the battery, it reduces losses. Because everything is running at a lower current, it can reduce the risk of fire. It's easier to regulate the input voltages and you can safely charge at higher rates, hence that ability to charge from mains at 1.5 kilowatts, and you get better inverter efficiency as it's only raising the voltage by 5 times compared to 20 times with a 12 volt system. When it comes to separate items, we picked a well-known but middle-priced brand. We couldn't match the specs exactly, but they are pretty close. The 100 ampere 12 volt battery has 1260 watt hours compared to the 1152 watt hours of the AllPowers 48 volt battery. The inverter does have 4000 watt peak maximum compared to the 3000 watt peak of the AllPowers unit, but only 200 watts more than the 1800 watts continuous maximum. When it comes to mains charging, the AllPower at a maximum of 1500 watts is theoretically going to charge over 6 times faster than with the mains charger we were able to afford. The solar charger in the AllPowers can take up to 650 watts of solar panel, and we calculated the 60 amp separate item could take slightly more at 700 watts. The 12 volt B2B we picked will charge twice as fast as the AllPowers, but will need dedicated wiring and fuses rather than being able to be plugged into the vehicle's accessory socket. Price wise, the separates we've shown come to a total of £1,077, and that's before any costs for cables, fuses, connectors or professional installation if you needed it. So even without including those additional costs, the separates come out at a cost of 85p per watt hour, compared to the 69p per watt hour for the R1500, which makes them nearly 25% more expensive. So if you are looking for portability, ease of installation, speed of charge from 240 volts and price per watt hour, the AllPowers R1500 is definitely worth considering. It also has a 5-year warranty compared to some of the separate items that only have 1 year's warranty. There are of course some benefits that we've talked about previously of having separate items to weigh up, but in our opinion the price of the R1500 now puts it in a position where it's worth considering as an alternative, particularly when purchasing as a package with the 200 watt folding solar panels, which we found very effective. It makes a great one-stop simple kit. For a limited time you can get an extra 10% off the already reduced price by using our Explore Van discount code at the checkout, meaning you can get the power station and panels for just £900, the power station alone for £720, or if you want to add 200 watts of panels to your existing setup, these will be just £243. Thanks for watching our video, and as always, if you have any questions or feedback, please pop them in the comments below. If you find the video useful, please like, share and consider subscribing.